So, you know, real quick. Again, I always start out like that, real quick. But it's something I think that needs to be said. And that is that there has never been a unified and unanimous hatred of any people by all people on the planet Earth as exists towards us as a people. Never. Never has the entire population of the Earth so uniformly hate one people. Never. Never in the history of the world has any people endured 400 years of chattel slavery, have been bred, castrated, enslaved, and brutalized for 4 centuries, then to be released within the society that it happened and actually attempt to flourish and live under that construct. Never in the history of the world has that happened on any landmass, in any place, at any time. There are so many dramatic firsts that exist in our experiences here on this planet Earth. Again, there is no reference point. There is no parallel relative to a people having endured as much as we have and remain within the society that produced the condition. Today, we have been reduced to the point where we believe that our only option is to bow our heads and to beg at another man's table. This directly related to the crime committed against our families over 20 generations. We are human. We will bear the scars of that impact. We will maintain transgenerational effects of that event. We will maintain epigenetic impact from that event. We are human. But in that hue, man, in that, as it is true that there has never been a condition like unto what we have come through, it is also true that there has never in the history of humankind been a man so tempered by fire. Never has any man stood on this planet Earth that has gone through what you have gone through. Never in the history of humankind has a man or a people endured what you have. This makes you very special. Very special. You're the one that they write about. You're the Christ of this earth. This makes you very special. How special? How special? That in the span of 150 years, after forced ignorance, after forced illiteracy, after feeding our family with pigs, we excel beyond their greatest of scholars. We excel beyond their greatest of political scientists. We excel beyond their greatest of theologians. We excel beyond their greatest examples of morality and humanity on this earth today. So, yes, you've come through a lot. You've come through slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. There has been no light at the end of the tunnel, and you have no friends. They call themselves allies, but they stand behind you, throwing fire bombs and creating a more dangerous environment for you standing in the middle. You have no friends. And in that, in the story of the underdog, in the story, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. And it's a misconstrued story. It's one that people don't actually look at the details and recognize the true message of this story. The story is of David and Goliath. You see, the way that this story has been used historically is to tell you the story of insurmountable odds and the courage to endure under those odds, a small boy against a giant warrior, right? And so this has been the story of courage and the facing of fears for masses, for generations. Here is what is missed in that story, okay? The Valley of Elah, where this engagement took place, has stones whose density is greater than stones anywhere else. What does that mean? It means a similarly sized stone is heavier in the Valley of Elah. In any army, you have three factions, and it was true then, it is true now. You have ground troops or infantry, you have artillery, and you have a cavalry or those that are on horseback. Okay. Goliath was an infantryman. This was a man that suffered from what is called gigantism. Andre the Giant, the wrestler, suffered from this gigantism. This evidenced by the fact, again, go open up your books, open up your scripture, test me, hear me? This evidenced by the fact that Goliath had to be led to the field of battle. Two men stood either side of him and helped him get to the field of battle. Okay, he suffered from gigantism. Another evidence of this is that with gigantism, the eyes are weak. And so he saw a small boy approach him with a walking stick, and he got incensed, and he said, "Why do you send a boy with sticks?" Plural. Why do you send a boy with sticks? He got outraged. So Goliath suffered from gigantism, and he was the biggest, baddest, most ruthless of infantrymen anywhere. And so when he stepped out to all of those armies and said, "Send one to face me," each and every single man trembled in their heart. Every man trembled in their heart. They knew that none from among them could stand toe to toe with that man and survive. David, on the other hand, was a shepherd that tended to his sheep. And a shepherd must protect his sheep from wolves. And so they became very skilled with a sling. They could take a sling and they could hit an object far the size of a quarter. Very skilled. David would be described as artillery. Okay. So Goliath is led to the field of battle. He screams out, "Send me your best, send me your baddest. And if they beat me, we're not going to destroy your everything, you know." And so they shuddered in their boots. They didn't have anyone to send. And then what happened was he called out and he said, "Send somebody." And David stepped up. Again, he stepped with a walking stick, right? He came with a walking stick, and Goliath exclaimed, "What? You send a little boy out here? I called for your best warrior, and you send a little boy out here with sticks to face me. Is that what you did? Well, give me the boy. Give me the boy, he said. I'm going to rip him. I'm going to shred him. I'm going to scatter that little boy for you. Okay? The story of David and Goliath is not a story of a little boy that overcame insurmountable odds. It is the story of preparation and science, because this little boy had no intentions of standing toe to toe with Goliath. He would fight in the arena that he was most comfortable with. So he picked up some smooth stones from the valley of Elah with a greater density than any other stone. And he put the stone in his sling, and he swung that, and he let it go, and he caught Goliath on the temple. Bang! Done. Game over. This was not guesswork. Goliath was done when he stepped up, because the little boy had planned to fight his fight in his arena. And so as a result of that, the story has been misconstrued. So I suggest to you, just like David and Goliath, the entire planet has fed from our wombs. The entire planet is damned for what they have done to the innocent people, the original people of this earth, right? The entire planet and all of her people will release a wailing and a weeping equal in the depth, breadth, and scope to what they have levied upon our families. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You will get and you will reap what you sow, each and every man. What I come to highlight, what I come to say is be thee encouraged. Be thee encouraged. Again, as I said, there ain't never been humans that existed to and through the circumstances that we have. Never in human history. What has it produced? It has produced a moral barometer in the form of a Martin Luther King Jr., who lifted the world with his love. Agree or disagree with that man's direction. With what he did, he took an entire nation of people who are completely happy, embracing hatred, apathy, disconnection, and horror as natural virtues. He took that and turned it into a nation that would say, okay, at least we'll try, right? Again, that's not a small thing. Please understand, when we talk about the experiences that we have had here in America, please understand, they are, we are human, they are mankind, but mankind embraced hatred, apathy, atrocity, breeding, genocide, rape as normal, and passed these down father to son, mother to daughter for 20 generations without skipping one in their families. So for Martin Luther King Jr. to have come and moved their moral barometer any degrees was an amazing thing. That was an amazing thing. So we are responsible. And so today, the whole world looks up to the United States of America for being this great beacon of virtue, justice and the American way and all that bullshit, right? So they look up to America, the whole world, okay? But the fact is, For 400 years, they didn't reflect any of those virtues. They didn't reflect those attributes that we speak to. All of those things that sit on the outside of their facade and they tell the entire world, this is us, is a lie. That was us. That was us. That wasn't them. What they embraced, what they reflected was disgusting, vile behavior for 400 years. That is what they reflected. The only people on this planet Earth that without fail and with great consistency demonstrated love, compassion, empathy, resilience, courage, ability, capacity was us. And we taught America those things. They say, John Deere, well, Deere, you stole your idea. You understand what I'm saying? You look at everything that's in this nation. It came from us. You understand? The person that made the work easier was not the person that was ordering the work done, but the person that was doing the work. So when you look at this amazing farm equipment and excavators, and you look at all of the strides that you've seen in America, they came directly from us. Directly from us. So when we stop and we begin to dissect, this is why they want a melting pot. Because if you throw all the contributions of all people into an individual pot, there's no possible way for you to be able to extricate the contributions of one and highlight the lack of contributions from another. So as long as we're in a melting pot, you can't step back and say, bitch, I gave you all them tractors. I'm the one who taught you how to do that. There's no way that you can step back and tell them that I'm the one that gave you the only compassion that you've ever known in your life or ever demonstrated in your entire lineage. I'm the one who taught you mathematics and science. I'm the one who carried you on my back to where you are today. I'm the one. So when we take an inventory, of those things that they have stirred down in their melting pot, and we extricate what it is that we have contributed to that bastard stew that they have. When we look at that, we recognize that there is a distinct lack of contribution on the part of the Hungarian, on the part of the Italian, on the part of the Netherlands Dutch, on the part of the German, on the part of the Portuguese, on the part of Spain, on the part of the UK, and on the part of these devils here. There is a lack of contribution. Everything they have, everything they are, everything they believe, everything they do came from us. Everything came from us. So I say, be thee not discouraged. There is no man on this planet Earth like unto you. The only issue is that you have been reduced to the point where you do not believe in yourself. You are afraid to try. It is a scary thing to stand up and to throw off whatever it is that has been holding you down. It's scary. It's hard. It's painful. Growth hurts. If you could hear a blade of grass pushing through the surface of the earth in order to get to the sunlight, you would hear it screaming, because growth hurts in every circumstance. I know. But I'm telling you, there's one answer. There is one answer. Either you settle for the view that you have while you are on your knees, or you stand up. There is no alternative answer. It is not a subjective statement. It is not my opinion. It is not my way. The fact, if you cannot identify the instruments of your oppression, then it will be impossible for you to ever eliminate your oppressor. The instruments of our oppression remain our food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, utilities, and essential needs for a human being to exist for 72 hours. If you forego marching and whining and begging and sending letters to your senator and participating and planning to live under white supremacy, if you save that energy and you begin to produce your own food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, and essential needs, you will find one by one, you begin to remove the instruments of your oppression from the hands of your oppressor. It is at that point you will be able to define freedom in truth. Until that point, you will find freedoms have been misdirected, right? Today, we find and we think that freedom equals free to express our sexuality. Free to express our sexuality. That's freedom to us now. But 400 years ago, that fucking sexuality was forced on us. And now, that's our freedom. Man, they ran a game on us. Man, they ran a game. Yeah. So what has happened is we have been misdirected to the point that everything that we say, everything we repeat actually has no substance. There is nothing to it. Again, if you give me a granola bar and then you give me equality, rights, justice, inclusion, diversity, equity, right? You give me all of those different things and I do an inventory. What I have at the end is a granola bar. I have nothing. It's ambiguous terms. It means nothing. They have given you nothing because what it is that you need doesn't exist in the hands of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, or Mike Pence. What you need doesn't exist in the hands of Ice Cube or 50 Cent. No one will save you. You must save yourself. And let me tell you something. If you can't find a way to save yourself with what you have in your hands right this minute, more will not help you. More will not help you. The people in Vietnam, I've spoken to this before. The people in Vietnam, they were probably the poorest people in any engagement. Never in the history of warfare was there a poorer enemy fighting the mightiest military power in the world. They had nothing. And what they used was when the soldiers dropped their trash, they took their trash and their MREs, and they filled it with matches, and they filled it with shrapnel, and they filled it with everything that they could. And they used their urine and their feces. Go study Vietnam. Go study what the people of Vietnam did, right? They had nothing. They used feces, and they won against the mightiest military in the world. I'm telling you, if you're sitting back waiting for reparations, what that means is you assume that this nation and people are supreme. You assume that they can withstand anything, militias, pandemics. They can withstand absolutely everything in your mind. They are infallible and they will always be there. So we cannot plan to provide our own essentials. We can plan to beg them. Let me tell you something, man. I mean, you want to keep it real 100? You want to keep it real crispy tonight? You got the nerve. See, there's only one time in your life somebody will ever provide for you food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, and education. Only one time that somebody will do that without any strings attached. That person is daddy. Daddy will do that. Daddy He's going to pay them bills. Daddy's going to make sure you got a house. Daddy's going to make sure you got food. You got all those things that you need. It's the only person in your life, right? Ass, cash, or grass. Nobody rides for free. It's the only person in your life that will ensure that those things are available to you, right? Once daddy is not there anymore, you're supposed to do these things for yourself. But what we've been trained and what we've learned to do is to switch one daddy for another, right? We've switched one daddy for another, and we sit in this diminished state, deferring and bowing our heads and never, ever even imagining we're a human, that we're men and women, and we too deserve freedom. Now, freedom, as I said, doesn't exist in any other man's hands. It exists in our own. And it's not a matter of waiting and hoping and holding up an evil giant so that he might pay us reparations. No, I suggest that the time is now for you to begin to look at what you have right here and right now, and use that to build the solution that you need, not for one generation, not for 5 generations, but for 1,000 generations into the future. That is the resolve. That is what we have to do, not wait for anything. I don't need any of my enemies to give me anything. I'll use, man, look, and I say to you, you don't believe it. And I'm saying to you, be the encouraged. I promise you, you can be dropped butt naked anywhere on this planet Earth, and you will survive. You will find a way. You will adapt. Let me tell you, you adapted to this. I'm telling you, you can adapt to anything. There is no reason for you to continue to live on your knees when you are beautiful, standing on your feet. No reason. The time comes to get very, very clear. Again, in this, there is no need for me to share my opinion. Not anyone you know, not anyone you might know that knows me, knows my religion. They don't know my political affiliations. They don't know any philosophical ideology outside of following our leaders. They don't know anything about my personal beliefs, about anything, because that doesn't matter. What matters is our condition as a people, identifying our inhibitors, that is, everyone else, and defining the instruments necessary to free us as a people, anywhere we might be on the planet Earth, in perpetuity. And those things, I don't care if you are in Barbados. I don't care if you're in Bermuda. I don't care if you're in Cote d'Ivoire. I don't care if you are in Jamaica. I don't care if you are in Central America. The instruments of your oppression that connect us all are food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, and education. They have enslaved the world. You do understand that the rest of the people here don't understand these things. The Italians don't get what I'm saying. If I say these things to them, they glaze over and they say, but the flag, right? If you say this to the Hungarians, they glaze over. They say, it was great. What are you talking about? If you say this to a German, they'll say, what are you talking about? It's great. They love this country, right? If you say this to anyone else, it makes absolutely no sense. And that is why they are slaves. That is why they are the most easy slaves, because they can't see it. They don't understand it. So my having a conversation with a Lithuanian is like, bruh, it's like throwing a steak to a pig. right? My having a conversation with any of these other people to try to explain or describe the way in which America has come into being and the fact that it is a slave-making machine which has created a slave planet, they won't understand it. They will not get it. There's one people that get it because there's one people that live through it. There is one people who are consistently and unanimously the scorned of all other people on the planet Earth. That is us. There is one at the bottom. There is nothing that I can do. You have tried it. You have tried it, Black people. You've given them your bodies. It don't make them stop hating you, does it? You've gotten their education. It didn't stop them from hating you. You've traded your identity. It didn't stop them from hating you. You got their religion. It didn't stop them from hating you. So why don't you, at one point, stop giving a damn about what they do and attack the instruments which hold you dependent to them? That's the only thing that matters. The biggest smiles in the world today come from the people that hate you the most. The Koreans, when you walk in their shop, they don't love you. They might treat you good because you're spending your money. They generally treat you bad because you're spending your money, right? But you can walk in there, right? You feel good, you integrated. We can go in and we can give them our money. And so now the Arab moves in and he owns the gas station and he owns the grocery store, right? And they smile at you, but they hate you. And you walk throughout this society and they're talking diversity and inclusion. They're talking all these things in front of your face. But if this is true, then how come the very freedom that we fought for them in the Revolutionary War is not a priority to them today? How come none of them say that? How come the Jews that my father fought in World War II, my grandfathers, both of them, were 24 years old when World War I broke out and were 48 years old when World War II broke out, and both of them fought in both wars? Why is it my grandfather and my father both went to free the Jews and the Jew ain't never came to try to free me, not near one day? Huh? We have no friends and they can't do it. They're supposed to be where they are. We are supposed to be where we are. We are the beacons. We raise the moral barometer of the planet Earth. In less than a generation, we raise the moral barometer of the entire planet Earth with our efforts. Everybody heralds America. Everybody looks up to America. Well, America is practicing what we gave them. That's all, right? So that being said, identifying the instruments gives us an attack vector. See, without that attack vector, then you'll swing. Hey, we need to vote. We need to march. We need to pray. We need to ask them. We need to, what? We need to incorporate with them. We need to start a nation. We need to do all of these different things. But none of them attack the primary problem. None of them address the primary issue, and the primary issue is dependency. You walk through this society and they smile big at you because your dependency equals their children's solvency into the future. As long as you don't produce those things for yourself, the Korean is assured social mobility. As long as you don't produce your own, then the Chinese is assured social mobility. Their economies are booming on your back. As long as you don't produce your own, then the Arab will always rise and use you for social mobility. As long as you don't produce your own, then them in Britain and in Germany and in Russia and in Lithuania and all over the planet Earth, Portugal, as long as you don't produce your own anywhere you are on this planet Earth, then you will enrich the rest of the people. And until you get that, it will never be any different. Look at your products. Look at your products. Look at your coffee cup. Is it a Black-owned company? Look at every single thing that you use. You are the American dream, a transgenerationally fixed asset that can be traded over and over and over again. And you will provide the social mobility for Sal and his pizza shop, for Lee and his fucking hair shop, for each and every single immigrant that comes into this nation. They will use you, and they don't even have to come to this nation because they will use the assets coming from your continent and fuel themselves by selling it back to you in the diaspora. And we're watching this go on and we can't get it. We're not picking it up. The simple answer is produce your own. Build your own table. Muhammad Ali said it. Malcolm X said it. Elijah Muhammad said it. Huey P. Newton said it. Bobby Seale said it. Frederick Douglass said it. Marcus Garvey said it. They have all said, build your own table and provide the meal that will be eaten on that table. Produce the essentials that maintain your own life. And as soon as you do those things, you will find that the conversation of racism will be removed from your lips because you won't give a damn what that man is doing. You got your security in hand. So racism ain't gonna bother you no more. See, white supremacy ain't gonna bother you no more when you don't need it to survive into tomorrow. How is this not clear? When you do not need those systems any longer to survive 72 hours, they will immediately lose their power in your life and their validity in your progeny's future. There is only one way, not Peter's. It's not my way. I get so sick. I'm saying, go so sick and tired of that base, low-level bullshit. It's Peter's way. Forget Peter. Listen to the fucking words. Forget the messenger. Listen to the message. The instruments that hold you, that hold your babies in state, are the essential needs. Is it a fact or not? Let's line them up, shall we? Let's do a T-bar real quick, shall we? If I don't have water in 72 hours, will I die? Yes. If I don't have nationhood, will I die? No. If I don't vote, will I die? No. If I don't march, will I die? No. If I don't buy the block, will I die? No. If I don't get an education, will I die? No. So what is essential? Nationhood, education, buy the block? Are any of those essential? Any? No, they're not essential. Essential is primal. It's the thing that keeps you alive. Even a pig will focus on its essential need to survive for the next day. And we out here with these talkers out here talking about, well, we need robots. The fuck? We need a space force. You dumb ass. And that is what's got people confused and out here talking. And so what happens is they come at me like I'm a talker, like I don't know, right? With that bullshit. Well, we need to get a charter. Are you this sophomoric bullshit? Solve your basic needs. And the moment you do, you will find that your concerns associated with white supremacy will disappear because they will have no power over you. Your concerns associated with racism will disappear because you will have your own gated community controlled and policed by you. Your concerns associated with the food and what they're doing with it will disappear because you will be producing your own. Your concerns about vaccines and the way that they treat you in the healthcare industry will disappear because you will be producing your own. Your concerns about the water that they deliver to your home and its safety to consume will disappear because you will be controlling your own. Every single thing that you open your mouth to whine about, I turn it around and say, then why aren't you doing it for yourself? Why aren't you doing it for yourself? Before you open your mouth to whine about what somebody else is doing for you, make sure you have exhausted your ability to do it for yourself. And that is what I'm an advocate for. My way, Pete's way. It ain't my way. Ain't nothing here subjective. There's no word that you can say. No man can deny one single word of what I have just said to you. None, because it is not subjective. It's the fact. And as long as we are afraid of defining the facts clearly, then there's no possible way that we could ever produce a solution in reality. So there comes a time, man. There comes a time where you silence all of these fucking talkers, man. They got nothing to say. They have no direction. They have no plan. Their plan remains under white supremacy in perpetuity. They don't want to say it, but what they're doing is they have acquiesced and they are relegating their children's children to begging at white people's table without any plan to do anything about it. And so they will come and they will support the idea and they will support it with the rhetoric that has been put into their mouths like marionettes. It's their mouth moving, but it's white people talking through them. And what they're saying is that our best option as men is to beg at another man's table. They have already resigned. I'm gonna holler. I'm gonna call them out. The D.L. Hugleys, the Oprah Winfreys, the Ice Cubes. I ain't got nothing against Cube, but each and every one of these people are going to negotiate a pillow on the plantation and have no desire to be off of it. None. They have no plan. They have no plan to ever be free of it. They intend to stay there. So what they're doing is they're convincing you, they're talking, they're using these media outlets, and they're convincing you that the very best thing that you can do is to acquiesce and to continue begging another man for your needs every single day. And that is what they are absolutely 100%. I don't care. Call your leader's name out. Put it in the comment section. Put your leader's name in the comment section. And I'm telling you, put your scholar's name in the comment section and we'll go look at their words. And you will see that everything that they do does not in any way plan to control their essential needs for the next 72 hours. They're talking about grand, lofty goals that assume massa will always be there to feed them. All of your scholars, all of your politicians, all of your journalists, every media outlet pushes this towards you. You're inept. You can't do it on your own. You need a master. They have taught you that you need a master and you believe it, and now you teach your babies that shit. We teach our babies to transgenerationally beg at another man's table. What? I tell you, there is only one answer. You can't go to the side of the table and negotiate with his woman and think that it solves your problem. You can't go under the table and maybe escape notice so that way you might be able to eat and throw food to your family. You can't do anything but build your own damn table. And anybody that says anything different is a fucking coward and they're walking you into slavery. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is the leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. That means that each of these talkers, each of these leaders, each of your scholars, each of your professors, each of your thought leaders and journalists, and all of these people are teaching you how to be a better nigger. That's what they're teaching you. How to be a better slave. How to gain comfort on the plantation versus ever be free of the plantation. They're cowards. Tell them Peter Brown said so. Tell them come holler at me. You're a coward. If you will never tell your people how to be free of a master, and you will spend your time spinning stories to hold them deeper, you're a coward and you don't want to be on stage with me. Look, I'm gonna tell you, I ain't mean to I ain't mean to drag them out. I ain't mean to call them out. I'm simply saying very clearly there is one answer. It is to identify the instruments of your oppression, and that is the only way you can ever escape your oppressor. I hear brothers talking about, we'll fight. You'll fight. Yeah, you'll fight. You'll fight as long as they provide you water. You'll fight as long as they provide you food. You'll fight as long as they provide you ammunition. That's not a fight. That's a slaughter. You must provide your own essential needs, and nothing else solves the problem. Nothing. Not voting, not marching, not praying, not begging, not putting your ass in the air. There's nothing that you can do that will solve the problem aside from build your own. So don't get tired yet. Don't get tired yet. Now is not the time for tired. You understand? Now is the time for you to muster up your courage. I told you growth hurts, and I know it hurts. But now is the time to muster up your courage. Now is the time to define the fact that you ain't got no friends. And this isn't working. Nobody is going to fix this for you. The only way that we come through this is if we fix it for ourselves. And we can do it. We can do it. Everything that you see out here has been produced through us already. We've already done it. We've already done it, but we've done it for somebody else. I promise you, if we do it for ourselves, I don't care. You see me building Africa. You got a remote place in Buku. We'll go there. I don't care where it is, but we can build our own. We can live in such a way that we don't have to pay this man to be born, and we don't have to pay this man to die. We can do it. We can do it. Find me. Everybody know who I am. You know who talking at you. Peter Brown. You want to send me an email? Your leaders want to send me an email? Your scholars want to send me an email? Want to debate? Want to talk this through? Email address is pbrown@theledgegroup.com. pbrown@theledgegroup.com. One word, no spaces. Email me. Wanna do some work? I don't want to debate you. I don't want to debate you. I don't. I want to build. That's what I do, right? You want to do some work? Find me. Find me with tools in my hand. Find me. Find the Grand Rising page on Facebook. Find it. Come see what we do, right? You want to do something for real? Join me. And guess what? If you don't want to join me, come holler. I'll give you the model. I will give you the model necessary to build anywhere on this planet Earth safely and securely with checks and balances. Holler at your boy, right? I suggest to you that 400 years ago, there were very few options for our families, right? It was to endure hell or leave it. Well, for the 400 following, we have increased in options and options and options. We can do so much. Today, I can go to a basketball game. I can go do anything, right? And we call this freedom. We've got all these options. So because we have all these options, we fail to make a choice. We fail to do anything because there's so many options. Well, I suggest to you that the time of all of these fake options is about to disappear. And it is going to, again, become very clear to you that the options are only to stay in hell or to leave it. We are right at that same catalyst that brought Harriet Tubman to put her work in. We are right at that same place right now, where we must decide whether or not we want to continue to live in hell and be murdered and dehumanized and marginalized only to beg at a man's table for more crumbs. We either are going to do that or we are going to build our own. I don't care if it's on the moon, but I will be free. Do you hear me? And that is the only resolve that is appropriate today. I will be free. and so will you. It's going to take work. It's going to take unity. But if we cross the river together, the alligator cannot eat us. Freedom is the goal. And the only way that we can attain that goal is by controlling the instruments of our oppression, which are food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education. Control those, and no man has control over you. Let me tell you something. That is not simply true here in America. You think that's not true in Russia? In Russia, if you are a human being, well, if you are mankind in Russia, if somebody else controls your food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security, what does it make you? It makes you a slave. If you are in the Ukraine, if you are in Saudi Arabia, if you are in Bora Bora, if you are anywhere on this planet Earth and another man controls your food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security, that is daddy. That's daddy. Right? Nobody else is going to control those things for you. Daddy does. And if daddy says you do this, you ain't supposed to suck your teeth. He tells you to take out the trash, you get up and you take out the trash. You can't complain about what daddy puts on the table. Your only answer when you get grown enough so that you buck at your daddy, right? And tell him, nah, bro, you ain't gonna put that on the table no more. As soon as you say that, you out the door. Go get your own table, right? Isn't that the answer? Doesn't that happen in each and every single one of our lives? Because we don't have a rite of passage, these things are forgotten. You don't know it. And so you step out your father's house and you come out and you choose a master. And this master provides for you everything. So as long as you're going to submit to a master that provides you everything, then stop whining. Eat the cake, Annie Mae, right? If you're not going to do anything to diminish your dependency, well, then you have no voice, right? Forget, you hear people say that if you don't vote, you can't complain. That's not true. That's not true. If you don't take a hand in producing your own essential needs, then you can't complain because somebody else is doing it for you. We can do it. We can do it. It's been done all over the planet Earth. We have demonstration of people having produced themselves from the ashes of horror. We can do it. In fact, we're the only ones that can do it. I'm telling you, be thee encouraged. Be thee encouraged. I know this is hard. I know it's scary to imagine. No safety net. I know it's scared to imagine providing all of the things for yourself. I know it takes more than 40 hours a week. I know there are no guarantees as it relates to tomorrow, but freedom is always better than slavery. It is better to live one day on our feet than 1,000 years on our knees. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. But nothing else is as sweet as freedom. I'm saying, we gonna go there. Come lay, stay, or pray. This train moves. We are moving to freedom, and we're not doing it again. It's not about, the difference here? The difference here is Peter Brown isn't working to make his life easier. I could have already been wherever I want. Peter Brown is not working to make his life easier. It's not about one lifetime. It's not about 2 or 3. It is about 1,000 lifetimes into the future and working backwards. It is about a level of inhuman resolve. Do what no one can. Like John Henry, take 2 hammers in your hands and you bang that spike in a way that no human ever has. Building is most certainly better than begging, and we can do it. We can do it. So I say again, be thee encouraged. You have come through monumental circumstance. You have endured slings and arrows of outrageous circumstance. I suggest there has never been a more folded and tempered steel as what is produced in you today. I suggest, as beautiful as you are, I suggest you have an indomitable spirit. You have the ability to do this. Trust yourself. Trust in yourself. And let's build this, man. Let's build the world. Again, we ain't got to worry about what has been done. We must worry about what must be done. And that is to provide our own essential needs. Let's do it. Let's do it. Find me. Find the Grand Rising. That's the launch pad. Email me. Find me anyway. Look up on YouTube. Look for the Ledge Group on the YouTube. Watch what we are doing. Watch what we have done. Find us. Join us. Let's move the chains. Peace.